Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Doc Podcast,
where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as fasciculation and Paul, do you want a cracker? So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Dr. London, I need some advice, I think.
Again?
Well, when was the last time I asked you for advice?
It was 3 minutes ago. You were at the candy machine, your vending machine, and you were like, which one should I get? And so I started researching, which one's better.
Okay, and are you done with your research?
No! I called up some colleagues for the ones who manage the machine, they're my good friends, and then also the ones who do the testing to see all the nutrition facts on it. But it's, okay, I could give you a tentative idea, but it'll take a few weeks for me to be sure.
Okay.
Kit Kat. Get a Kit Kat.
Okay. Does our vending machine have Kit Kats?
No.
Yeah, okay. I need to go to a third party for that.
Our party, yeah, parties can have them. If it's not quite Halloween, so I'd say wait it out until Halloween.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty good advice.
So that's our producer, Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the House. And later, Cameron tells me that we can expect a special guest. So do look forward to that. But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. So for a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of people who only drink backwash. But in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. Let's see, this week's feedback comes from TikTok. This is a comment on our response to if the H3 guys were single and focused on self-care, hair maintenance, and overall hygiene. At temporary_enjoyer said, quote, I see you, end quote. So thank you so much for this feedback. So Cameron, I told you that if the camera's blinking red, that does mean it's on.
Yeah, sure. No,
okay.
I wanted them to see that.
Okay, just...
I don't try to hide it.
Well,
I'm not
I felt
ashamed.
Like you told me that, don't worry, no one will see, but I guess you just assume that no one will watch?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't matter what I put out there. No one's gonna, look at it.
They just said that they do see. So, okay, we've been
compromised, essentially.
Yeah, I guess to just put this out there, we've been having turtle fights. We've been hosting a lot of turtle fights here. Not tortoises, okay? We keep some water in the balance to soften the blows, but we found a way, basically, to make turtles angry enough to fight each other, still slowly, pretty slowly.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say aggressively. I wouldn't compare this to dog fighting where one of the dogs usually dies.
Yeah. Please. No,
I would say the majority of the turtle fight is spent sort of munching on lettuce very hard and very aggressively.
Yeah. I could chew that aggressively, but I would get tired of it eventually, I think.
And I just wouldn't want to. There's no point in it.
Yeah. Why eat lettuce?
Stupid and pointless. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so yes, we've been having these matches, sort of, I guess you could call them cage matches, underground. And the thing is, we talk about it and
yeah, it's in my basement. I mean, I understand you keep saying it's an underground sport.
Yeah.
It is, and it is literally underground. It's just the basement in my house.
But you do get hundreds of people betting every night. It does get very intense. Fights between people break out over the outcome of how these turtles will come out.
Again, you're using the word fight very loosely. It's the same kind of fighting that's going on with the turtles among the people.
They're eating a lot of lettuce.
They're just eating lettuce really aggressively.
But full heads of lettuce. Like,
It's like the Lonely Island sketch.
It
It's
is.
like the Lonely Island
Yeah.
sketch.
I'd like to, not to scare anyone here, but it is like that.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Imagine 100 people doing that, and turtles are doing that.
Yeah.
And it's in my basement.
and
And I'm
here's
trying
the-
to go to sleep.
Yeah. It's so hard to sleep with that chewing of
It's
lettuce
so
going
loud.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, anyways, I'll say, like, also, they aren't even filming the people eating the lettuce. That's what's crazy. We're only
Oh, yeah.
filming the turtles.
But yes, all that to say, we try to keep this off the internet so people, we don't get shut down by the authorities.
Yeah.
And I thought the best security was to just put it on our TikTok, which gets 0 views.
That's right.
But apparently we do have 1 view, which is this user.
This person, yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much for that feedback. I hope we answered your question, and feel free to leave us more comments in the future.
And we are, now that you have this information, we do have to assassinate you.
Yeah. We'll be sending a turtle.
Yes. Yeah. It'll get there
So-
eventually.
Yeah.
Because
So
by
I like-
sending, I'm just putting it on the front, like putting it outside, putting it in my front lawn,
Yeah.
and saying, here's a picture of the guy, show a picture to the turtle.
Yeah. Try to remember it, because, like, I can't just put it in front of you the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and I don't
Yeah.
have a picture, I just have the username. So I really am just showing the turtle the
Yeah.
username.
Here's some TikTok videos.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much, and I hope that answered your question. Next, we have a comment on our response to "The Darkness Has Its Eyes on You." This is from @Anthony Kasura. They said, quote, "Crying laughing emoji. I didn't expect you to reply. Thank you. You have a great day, man." End quote. So thank you so much for this feedback. So Cameron, I'm seeing an issue here. This listener is addressing both of us as one man. So I get that you've stolen my identity before, but we're different people, correct?
I think so.
At this point?
Here's the thing. We've both stolen each other's identities so much that I don't really remember who is who.
Yeah.
So I think collectively referring to us as maybe like, you're London, I'm Cameron, Lundram, or Cam Don, or something like that would save everyone a lot of time. Because I don't
think it'd simplify it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if my
Learn-
experiment, the experiment that I've been working on, is successful, we will become essentially one being. I wouldn't call us a man at that point. I would call us more like a monster.
And the experiment, it's the duct tape one?
Yes, I'm going to duct tape us together.
No. Okay. Like there are points at which, I'm sorry to go off on you again, but science and nature, you can't bend nature like that. Okay? You can't do that.
But with duct tape?
There are certain
Did you think about
lines
that?
you don't cross. No, I briefly.
Okay.
I
get
are
what you're
certain lines
saying,
you
but
don't
I just
cross.
feel like you didn't factor in that I'm using duct tape.
I am beginning to
Like the brand with the little, like there's a picture of a duck on it.
Oh, you're doing the name brand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're gonna become one man.
Monster.
Not
a man.
Creature. So still incorrect. This feedback calling us a man.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that feedback.
And like the other listener, we are going to have to assassinate you. So thank you.
Now for today's medical topic, focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. Focal segmental glomerulosclerosis is when scar tissue forms in certain segments of the filtering unit of the kidney, which is known as the glomerulus. So focal, that's certain segments, segmental, certain segments. Glomerulosclerosis accounts for 25% of cases of nephrotic syndrome in adults and is more common in black people. Nephrotic syndrome is, as opposed to nephritic syndrome, has clinical findings of edema, which is swelling, a hypercoagulable state, so that you can have strokes and heart attacks, and an increased risk of infection. Lab findings include urine protein excretion rate greater than 3.5 grams per 24 hours, hypoalbuminemia, and hyperlipidemia, with fatty casts in the urine. And remember that nephrotic syndromes have protein loss as a defining characteristic. That's how I remember it.
Well, another way you could remember all of this information is, scar tissue is that's one of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' most famous songs. Scar tissue, and then the Red Hot Chili Peppers famously would perform entirely naked, but with socks on their ding-dongs. Yeah. So you said urine, and that comes out of the ding-dong. So, in a way,
this is all on topic.
Yeah, it's a good teaching tool.
It really ties it together. So, patients with focal segmental glomerulosclerosis specifically may present with leg edema, ascites, pleural effusion, and abdominal pain. Blood in the urine and high blood pressure are often present as well. Kidney biopsy is the most definitive way to confirm the diagnosis of focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, and findings on biopsy include segmental solidification of the glomerular tuft with a characteristic lesion, among other things. The treatment of focal segmental glomerulosclerosis is generally with non-specific measures and symptomatic treatment, like diuretics for the edema, controlling blood lipid levels and blood pressure, etc. And then focal segmental glomerulosclerosis has a fair to poor prognosis. So it's generally resistant to steroid therapy, with patients developing renal insufficiency within 5 to 10 years of diagnosis, and the course of the disease is progressive.
Torrenting has gotten so expensive lately. Have you noticed that? Because I get DJ Dillon to do my torrenting, right? Which I've always heard is the cheapest avenue to go through is through DJ Dillon.
Yeah. Well, he knows a guy.
But it's now up to $45 a movie. At that point, why don't I just buy the Blu-ray? It's much cheaper.
No, but DJ Dillon says the Blu-ray isn't as good because he adds features.
Right. We don't get the DJ Dillon commentary on the Blu-ray, which is very true. And when a shot is really dark, and on the torrented version, there's a lot of pixel artifacts. But then on the Blu-ray version, it just looks really good and normal. I would, of course, miss those pixely blocks of black chunks.
Because he said there's a story in there too. He tells it if I ever say hey, is there a reason why there's extra just pixel? He's like, well, did you not pay attention to it? And
then you say, yeah, no, I did. No, I know. I was wondering if you knew because you don't want to feel dumb. Not getting it,
and I don't because I do know. I actually know about it. So, anyways, that's a medical lesson. Hey, Cameron, did you say we have a guest today?
We do, Dr. Lennon. We actually have a very exciting guest.
Okay, well, hello there. My name is drlennonsmith.com. That's our producer, Cameron. What was your name?
Hi, I'm Dr. Morris.
Oh, great. Another physician?
Well, just to be clear, though, I do appreciate it when people refer to me also including my first name.
My first name?
No, my first name, which is Hugh.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Hugh Morris. I don't think we had said your name up until this point, but it's good to know that we won't say it incorrectly now.
Right, Dr. Hugh Morris.
Morris.
Yes.
So as I was saying, another physician was what I was getting at here.
No, I don't know what your fancy terms are you're talking about with a physician. I should also clarify that where I'm from, our medical documents are a little, shall we say, lacking. And so what I did was I discovered a collection by this apparently famous doctor in the mainstream world. And we were able to learn a lot from that. So I spent 4 to 5 weeks reading everything I could get my hands on. And that's what I learned is how to become a doctor from him. So I read everything that he wrote in 5 weeks.
Well, I'm sorry, who is the writer? 'Cause it does seem like you just went back to saying, well, it's all of his writings. But who is it?
Well, he wrote 43 or maybe 53 books. And I read them all, and I learned everything from I learned about the heart, I learned about foot, lots of zoology. I almost became a veteran because of this, because I learned about cats and foxes and fish and elephants.
I believe we were educated by the the same doctor.
A lot of who's who. There was some cooking with good breakfast information about this too. Explanations of the world. The best thing I learned was the advanced math you need to be a doctor. Because most people, like when I was growing up, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. But what I learned from this doctor is you actually go 1, 2, red, blue.
Okay. So is this a new math? I've heard about new math.
No, it's specifically when you're counting aquatic things.
So there's the one,
But
like one sea turtle.
1, 2, or 2 turtles, red turtles, blue turtles. Yeah,
Turtle,
yeah.
red. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You seem a bit confused, so just to make sure I clarificate here.
Just to give you some info, Dr. London is, yes, he's a doctor, but his medical education isn't up to snuff.
Right, so he wouldn't know. I bet, for example, if I told you that I learned about... So you have to learn about animals in order to learn about humans well, because it just helps with understanding the physiology of everything. So what I learned from my doctor that I read was, I told you about the cats, who, by the way, like to cover their heads up to protect from the sun. And I learned about foxes who like to cover their feet up to protect from the ground. And I already mentioned the aquatic stuff and the elephants, but the most interesting are the ones, and I've never been to these countries, but apparently in some countries you can find something called like a lorax and a sneetch.
It's not some countries, it's Colombia, right? Like it's just Colombia where the Lorax lives.
Well, is that where coffee comes from there too?
The Lorax isn't the Lorax isn't like a breed. It's a guy. He's my friend. I'm sorry, you're just talking about him like he's an animal.
Well, I understood.
He's like a dude.
No, I'm pretty sure he was an animal.
He was furry for sure.
Yeah, okay.
If you saw the illustrations that were made, I think it becomes pretty clear.
God, he's been lying to me all this time. I just thought he was a guy. He's dating my sister.
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's more kind of reminded me of kind of like maybe a hamster or a gopher with like a big beard is the best I could come up with.
That is fair. I would never say that to his face because I would, London looks like, like a... sort of like a primate-based being, roughly.
I don't appreciate being called based. Okay. Don't call me based or mid or whatever. Like I look like a primate. I don't think that's a bad thing. That's actually, believe it or not, what I'm descended from on my mom's side, or my dad's.
You're on just on your mom's side though, not on both sides.
Well, I didn't ask the other side. One side's more vocal about it, like with the sound.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. That does check out.
Yeah.
I am very interested in your studies because I believe I learned from the same doctor, and this is how I learned that the reason that my heart is engorged is because I heard some people singing off of a cliff, and then that made my heart like explode. And that's where a lot of my cholesterol issues have come from and whatnot.
So I've learned that actually the bigger your heart is, the better it is for everything. And in fact, it seems to be the way you get like superpowers of amazing strength and heroic abilities is by having a big heart. And most people think you've got to do heart exercises to grow a heart and like the cardio and everything. But I really think it actually has a little bit more to do with having a good dog.
Having a good dog, stealing from people, and then as long as you hear those people sing afterwards, you're kind of done.
Well, yeah, because if you learn that the material stuff that you stole isn't what matters, and there's something else beyond that, that's what really causes your heart to grow bigger than the box that it's contained inside of.
Okay, now you're losing me with this doctor. Okay, so you're saying that like the stuff that I get, just because there was, I mean, last Christmas I went around and I took a bunch of stuff just to make sure that like no one else had holidays during that time. Because
you stole other people's stuff during Christmas.
That makes it sound bad. But I did
Yeah,
that.
make
yes.
it sound good. Reword it and make
Yeah,
it sound good.
how are
Yeah.
you going to make that sound good?
Okay, yeah, so last holidays,
Right, Christmas.
or whichever one you celebrate where you put stuff around.
That time of
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
Where people
so
are given and they give stuff to others during that time of year is what we're talking about.
Usually before they have, this is after the giving to others usually, but it's still before anyone's like touched the stuff, like to open it and see what's inside.
Oh, so during the period where nobody actually owns it.
That's right.
So it's not stealing because there's no owner at this point.
I thought it was gonna be hard to make this work, but yes, that's precisely it. So I go in, try to go through the chimney first. Usually that doesn't work because it's full of gross stuff. I find brick through the window.
No,
brick
but
through
you
the window's
see,
way easier.
that's actually the secret to dressing nice is if you do in fact go through the chimney, because it's full of suits.
Okay. So, can you fit? Because some of these chimneys are very small, and like I try to suck in, and like maybe it should I've been eating more with the family.
I was about to say,
and
Dr.
stuff.
Lennon, but you've gained. I mean, how many pounds in the last couple days?
I don't fit in my suit anymore, I guess is the issue.
Yeah. What you need to do is to really work on building your heart bigger and not your gut.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you were saying like you were going to these people's houses and they were they just had cookies laying out, and you're like, well, I was going to eat some of these cookies.
Well,
right, but even if you go in their houses to take the stuff that's not currently theirs because it's been wrapped up and hasn't yet been given to the next, so it's in that, what do you call that gray zone, shall we say? But when you enter their house, gift purgatory, but you still are, in fact, trespassing. How are you going to justify your trespassing?
Well, okay, yeah, here's the way I do it. So I throw a brick in through the window to get in, right?
So destruction of property.
Right. So you have to throw the brick back out to get out. And then that evens it out.
Yeah, have you ever considered, instead of using a brick that you have to throw in and then retrieve, you could cause your same destruction by learning from the Austrians? Because the Austrians have these boomerangs.
Oh, so those are the wood things, right?
They're used for taking down. Now, most people think that they're used for land animals, the kind that return to you, but that's not true. They're actually for the things that fly, because if you throw them out and then you miss, it returns right back to you.
But I think in this context, Dr. London, how you could use it is because it is sort of a blunt object, you can use that to threaten whoever lives at that home that you don't have to break a window, they'll just let you in as you gather the gifts and whatnot.
You could call that a blunt approach. Yeah, it does help him get right to the point.
Okay, but guys, I'm an introvert.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
I can't just go up and start a conversation. Oh, it's so much, for me, the brick is so much easier just because I don't want to talk all the small talk, Is
the conversation the issue? Because you could just go up to the person, smack them with the boomerang, and then just steal the gifts. No discussion involved. You do have to knock on their door, which might be a little too much for an introvert, but...
No, but you see, what we've missed here is that the brick is not actually used for breaking the window. He's trying to use the brick to break the ice in their refrigerators. Because the introverts need icebreakers.
Yeah, that's right. So I do throw the brick inside, but that is just to get to the fridge.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a means to an end, not like the objective. So, then I get to the icebreaker, which is the brick. I take that further, and then I do take all of the purgatory gifts, and then I do take them up a mountain. And sorry, I say I do this. I've only done this last year.
Yeah.
Is it a recurrent thing that you plan on doing this year as well?
Here's what I thought would happen. I thought I would just kill the holiday spirit.
Right. Right. You thought that it would be a one and done sort of thing.
Yeah. I went up this mountain and it worked. I didn't hear any singing or anything, so I was fine. Opened a bunch of presents.
Yeah, and I mean, now that you think about it, people talk about Christmas way less than they did just a few months ago.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like no one's talked about Christmas lately, whereas, like, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, like, it was all blah, 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 Christmas.
In about a month, I think people will again, because...
I think I beat
London
Christmas.
Stole all the Christmas.
I did it.
Yeah, if he killed the holidays.
Oh, yeah, that could be bad.
Hey, whoa, what's good or bad? I mean, all I did was take away this one holiday. Like, we have so many other holidays.
I say that all the time.
Well, but if you take away that, I mean, that's like saying that if you remove part of the ecosystem, that it's good. But there's reasons for example, in Texas and in the South in general, I hate those little bite bugs. You know, the ones that suck your blood, the vampire with wings. They're the mosquitoes, and I hate the mosquitoes. But what I have learned is that they do serve a purpose, because there are other things that we like that eat them, like birds and other insects eat the mosquitoes, and that helps the ecosystem in general. So if you were to remove all of them, actually the world would be a better place.
Yeah. It sounds like there would be less birds, which sounds like a positive to me.
Yeah. That's why we keep outdoor cats. That's why you're supposed to keep outdoor cats, is to get rid of the birds. They say look at the correlation between cats at your house and outside specifically, and the bird population, and you'll see you can actually control the population levels before they get so crazy.
But you see, that's why my mentor started putting hats on the cats, because it made it harder for them to see the birds and help more birds survive.
I don't know. To me, it's just like, why would Hitchcock have made a horror movie if birds weren't extremely terrifying monsters that need to be eliminated and destroyed? Like, he made that it was an allegory, the allegory being, we should do this.
Yes.
Have you heard there's apparently this new thing happening on social media where people are taking turtles and making them fight each other?
Whoa, no, I haven't heard of anything like that. Even if it was online, it'd have 0 views, right? Like, no one would see that or hear about that.
Well, you'd think so, but apparently there's now a new coalition called Save the Turtles that in fact, they contacted my office yesterday asking if I knew anything about what to do, and I told them I didn't. But if y'all know anything we can do to help out, because I mean, turtles are an endangered species.
Yeah, one of the more. Yeah, well, only because of hold on.
Yeah, how do we put this? They've become an endangered species recently due to external factors,
which we can't control.
They say that social media actually has changed a lot of things for the worse.
Yes, it's TikTok,
including our ability to talk to people. And apparently, these clashes on TikTok of the turtle matches have been, what do you call it when someone takes your video and steals it as their own and reshares it over and over again? And then you don't get like the views, but all those other people do.
Blu-ray. Yeah, it's a Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. Okay, so apparently people have been Blu-raying these turtle fights that they found from some random, I don't even know where they got them, but one of them has been re-Blu-rayed like 2 billion times.
Okay. And that's in theaters?
Just to clarify, is the video of the turtles, for the most part, munching really, really hard on a head of lettuce?
Well, I believe there was one called the Snapper Battle, which starts off with, you know this. You've seen this before.
No. What?
Now, and apparently one of them was spray painted on its shell, and it had a name that was spray painted just like right on the shell. One of them, I believe, said like USA, and the other one said London, and they were like fighting out each other.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so what I heard about this fight was that they disguised a turtle who normally goes by the name of Jeff as a certain country that we think we should go to war with, which is London, of course.
Wait, hold on. I know that you think that I might be ignoramus because I'm from the South, but I'm pretty sure London is not, in fact, a country.
Okay. So
I don't think it's a continent either. It might be a comma.
Was it North London then? Is that the continent? Sorry, I get the Central London. The continent of Central London.
My memory is not as good as it used to be, but could you remind me what your name was?
Oh, hold on. I need to look it up too.
It's Yurtle, right?
Yeah, Yurtle. That sounds right. I can't keep up with all the. So whenever I got my doctorate, it bumped all my names down. It's doctor, and then I lose names every time I get a new, degree or honorary. So,
right.
Now my name is Doctor. If that helps.
Your name is just Doctor.
It's not just Doctor. It's Doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Yurtle.
Yeah. We think saving turtles is good, actually. Right?
Oh, you do.
Is that the?
You think saving turtles is good, and that's why you're training them to fight each other.
Okay. Well, they're.
Now, you see, if you would have told me that you're trying to make them able to survive in the wild better by learning how to fight and defend themselves, I would have commended you, but you did not have that as your answer.
Yeah, sorry, that is what
we're doing. The thing you said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine then. That's good. That's good work.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing you said is definitely what we're doing.
Have you begun their martial arts portion of the training yet?
The art classes haven't gone well. They can't hold a brush worth anything, a paintbrush. So the martial arts, and if you tell them draw Marshall, and I'm like,
I don't even think they know who that is. Yeah, it's like Marshall, like How I Met Your Mother, like Jason Segel's character, obviously.
I mean, I thought that Marshall was actually the thing in the country back when I come from. The Marshall's the one who enforces the law. And learning his art is learning how to be someone who enforces the law.
Look, if the turtles could draw that, I'd be cool with it. But the turtle literally doesn't even pick up the brush.
You're wanting the turtles to be law enforcement? Is that sort of the goal of this group?
Well, now look, I told you that when I was trying to learn how to be a doctor, I learned from the great Dr. Suez, right? That's where I learned
This is the first time you've mentioned. Okay. It's been a mystery this whole time.
You should have been able to infer if you were smart. But the more important thing here is if you are trying to develop an elite fighting force, you could learn by watching the things in the VHS. You could learn that what used to happen back in the old days was taking reptiles and training them to be the forces so humans don't have to fight for themselves.
I do got to ask though. I mean, you started this off pretending to be a doctor. Then you were advocating for the safety of turtles. Then it kind of seemed like you were advocating for turtles to be in charge of us, be in charge of the law and enforce the law.
Well, yeah, the reptilians are the ones who are actually already ruling the country anyway. Well, I mean, if you look at the world, there's no way you could think that the person who apparently is like the president right now is actually in charge of anything. It's really the reptilians.
I thought he was. So I know there's a turtle in charge somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's not the ones that we had. Not that we had in the... no, we admitted to it, right? Yes.
I think it
is. You admitted to it. But fortunately, you admitted to the fact you're training them to be an elite fighting force to learn how to save themselves from their oppressors and overlords.
Dr. Hugh Morris, Hugh, do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to? Anyone who's maybe you're a fan of? Someone on social media? Any of that?
So, yeah, anybody who's listening, what you want to do is go to IMDb and type in Bryan with a Y, Bryan, Spellman, and then hit enter. And then look at what's on there, and then write to your nearest Hollywood producer and tell them that they need to put him in their next big movie.
Thank you so much to our producer, Karen. Thank you to Dr. Hugh Morris. My name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Podcast.